What about your finances? What is the system you have in place for budgeting? There are some of us today, respectfully speaking, with what you are earning per month, in all fairness and in all sincerity, you may not be earning the whole world, but there are certain needs you should not have if there were a system in your life. That some of you still go to borrow money and beg from certain people who are by far less earners than you, simply because their life is more systematized. There are certain kinds of birthdays you should not be doing, not with the kind of money you are earning. No, you are not yet there. There are certain kinds of, respectfully speaking, society living that should not be, not with the kind of money you are earning. As God lifts you, you can adjust your lifestyle to suit the growth, but the pressure of society. There are people who can go to a restaurant and millionaires are spending 100, 200,000 because their businesses will return back that money that night. But you who, even if it's favor that came to you, favor is maintained by wisdom. You also join and spend 200,000 naira that night, and you go back, they are sleeping and you cannot sleep. Hallelujah. Look up. How about ministries? There are ministries that may not have the budget to be doing certain things they are doing. Respectfully speaking, this is with love to the body of Christ. For many years in this ministry, we limited the things that we did because of the future, and we knew that there will be times for capital projects and serious finances will be needed, but there will be need for management to cut away excesses. And thank God for that wisdom. Today, at the level he has brought, there is nothing we want to do that we cannot do. It didn't just happen by favor alone. Through wisdom, a house is built. Is someone learning now? There are people today, when you see them, you will think they have estates, but in truth, they do not have a single house of their own. Why? They have been earning a lot of money. I'm a giver, but let me teach you the truth. Even giving must be guided with discretion and wisdom. Just because God mandates that we give does not mean we should be careless. Some of you are emotional givers. It's not just revelation. Somebody, God can provide you 1 million naira, and maybe in your state or your area, it can buy, even if it's a plot of land, and you can just sit in church hearing me preach now and say, this man, Kai, and you carry the 1 million. Now, if God led you, no problem, but that you just stand up emotionally. Do you know there are people who have given to this ministry and called the finance department? Sincerely, I'm not mocking them. Later on, that they made mistakes, and please, is there a way? I mean it, I'm not joking. For some of you, when they call, maybe in your various assemblies or in any meeting, they call for a vow or they call for giving, you see your colleagues and your contemporaries come out, and out of sheer carnality and pressure, not the leadership of the spirit. How many of you can give 10 million here, and what the Holy Ghost is restraining us? You are owing, you are still paying, you have not paid your children's school fees. Now, I'm a giver, I've taught you giving. There are many people today who even run away from churches because they vowed vows that they cannot pay. You went to 3 churches and pledged 10 million, and all the men of God know you. You are running away, your children are running away. It was needless. Systems. Most people don't prepare their offering before they come to church. It is when they see the person who is a package of tithes and offerings, they just check and look at everything. That's why you are not growing financially. This is the balance. You can't give God peanuts and check what is here. 1,000, you return it back. 500, you return it back. 100 naira, you return it back. 50 naira, you return it back. Then you carry the bad one and just squeeze it and drop, and then you are laughing, and God is saying, I'm seeing your heart. You ate in a restaurant before coming to church, you spent 10,000 and you came and dropped 50 naira. I don't mean to be a bearer of bad news, but you will not grow that way. Where your heart is, there your treasure will be. How about a system for savings? Do you know why pension scheme works? Aside from corruption and other things, do you know why it works? I will tell you. Because there is an automatic system to deduct from your salary. Is that true? All through your lifetime. If they gave you all the money and say be depositing it yourself, only 1% of the people who receive pension today will have it. They know that there is a limitation in all men, so they created a system out of it, so that after 35 years of service, out of that, maybe added to it, maybe you haven't put it in some investment account, with the little gain there, they can now be blessing you with it for the rest of your life. There must be a system to save. Some of you, if you calculate all that God has brought to your life today, January, somebody gave you 1 million for Happy New Year. Somebody gave you 5 million. Someone gave you 200,000. Someone gave you 300,000. During your birthday, you got 10 million. You have carried like 30 million. How much do you have now? 15,000. It's carelessness. Do you have a system in your life for replenishing? Listen to my financial series. Do you have a system in your life? Do you know there are many people who enjoy birthday parties? There are many people who enjoy anniversaries, and when it's time for their children's school fees, they literally stand stranded. And do you know why nobody helps them? Because the impression they have given is that I am comfortable. You can't call us for a meeting and spend 30 million and be asking for 500,000 for your child. It does not add up. When people know you are genuinely in need and you demonstrate it by diligence to what God has already given you, people will be very quick to support you. I tell you this. There are times people come to me, respectfully speaking, to ask for help, and I look at them, I look at what they are wearing. I calculate, at least with my mind, look at what this guy is wearing, look at the kind of car he came out from, and then he stands arrogantly and he says, I don't know, somebody said I should come and meet you, I don't know. And I said, no, this man is not worthy of help. If you help them, maybe just pay to the school and help the children, but not because of the person. Wastage. There are people driving cars today that are by far bigger than their levels. You have a car, respectfully speaking, of 50 million, 40 million, and you don't have a house. It's not a wise calculation. Everybody say systems. You may not like me this night, but I love you. Who's on pray? You came to church. You should live wiser. Some of you, there's some money that should have come to you. God delayed it until you hear this message, because if that money had arrived last week with all the prophecies I've been giving you, God has allowed you now because he wants you to, now that it comes with this wisdom. Those friends that used to call you, has it come? You tell them, listen to Koinonia message part 3, striving for mastery. Manage your passion for celebration and some of these excessive things. Let God build you, and you can have to do anything and even give. Are we together? How about relationships? What system have you put in place for having and maintaining the various relationships needed in your life? Most of us don't have a system. What is the standard in your life for having friends? Anybody who just smiles at you and says, I like your shoe, or you just meet in a program, suddenly becomes your friend. You call them your covenant friend, bosom friend, until they tear you into pieces after 2 weeks. You leave them and look for another one. No, there has to be a standard. What is your standard for having friends? I've taught you this about relationships. There are general relationships, there are seasonal relationships, but there are covenant or destiny relationships. There are many of us, you can meet someone for the first time, and in 2 hours you've told the person everything about your life, plus the problem you have with your spouse, the problem that you have with your man of God, the problem you have with your children, and at the end of it, the man laughs. The day you have a problem with that man, he has everything in the palm of his hands. Be wise as serpents, Jesus said, and to be gentle as doves. Is someone getting wiser? Please look at me. There must be a system to manage your relationships. I told you my story. My dear mom, I'm sure she's following, watching now. Years ago, I didn't used to have that time, not intentionally. That time, you know, for my family and all of that, I was busy ministry, justifiably busy. And then we used to gather together 1st of January to pray. And after we finished, you know, AOB, and my mother made a statement. I cried that night. My mother said, well, her statement is directed to me. She said, please, sometimes my family members also have issues. They want to see me, they want me to pray for them, and she would not mind that, even if it is to tell them what time to be calling me. I said, my mother, this is the person that everybody who says hail King of Kings, they are the same people who say crucify you. These are some of the people who will stay with you when everybody runs away. And I went back and I said, God, and I made up my mind that I was going to come up with a system of reaching out and at least doing my best to maintain my relationship with my family member. Some of you need to do this. Don't generalize your relationships. Who are the 5 most important people in your life today? By reason of, number 1, the spiritual contribution they bring to your life. By reason of, number 2, their dependability as friends in your life. By reason of, number 3, the level and magnitude of their financial committal to your life. Don't generalize everybody. No, it's a mistake. That's why I took out time to celebrate my precious workers, and I did that sincerely. I have taught you this year, not everybody thinks you are a big deal. Beloved people of God, when you find people who love you sincerely and believe you are a big deal, don't ignore them. Some of you, by reason of this teaching, you need to come up with a system. Maybe once every week, every 2 weeks, every month. If I cannot see my loved ones, at least I will send them a text. I will call them. Can I tell you, especially for your parents, whether you like it or not, someday they will not be here again. Don't waste the opportunity being a celebrity around the world to people who only love your gift and not you, and forget the people that really matter in your life. It's time to reorder your life and create systems. Let me tell you this sincerely. No matter where I travel to in a year, no matter what it is, if I have to for any reason, I will not miss koinonia. Maybe more than 2-3 times, and it has to be a justifiable reason. Maybe if I travel out and I'm not able to come, or maybe I'm doing a conference somewhere, that may be the only reason. But if it is Sunday, you will find me here as much as possible. The school of ministry, I make sure that I am there to teach them by myself. Is it not me God called? Why did I say yes? If I say yes, I must obtain the grace and stay and be serious. There are some of you here who are men of God. You are losing your core membership in the name of the world celebrating you. They will leave you in a heartbeat the day they find an alternative. The ones who love you enough to come and sit and be part of the vision are deserving of your best. This is true. I learned this from God's servant Bishop Oedeko, and many of our fathers of faith in this nation. A few of them have had the privilege of talking with them. Except it is necessary, they will be home. Not out of insecurity. It is their primary assignment. Can I tell you, as much as you see me all around this nation and around the world, believe me, my dear people, you are my primary assignment. And as far as God grants grace, I will not fail in that. I will make sure that week after week, to honor your sacrifice of taking the risk to be part of this vision. Systems. When people know you are that serious about them, they will be serious about you too. They can now invite people to come knowing that you will not waste their time. I have said this, human beings are not stupid. If they find out that you are not contributing constructive value to their life, they may not run away from you, but they will look for an alternative that serves them well. Please go back and rewrite your relationships again. Who are the people who have shown you the greatest honor in your life? Write it down. The first 5. Invest in that relationship. Who are the first 5 people who you know are shoulders you can lean on? No matter what happens in your tears and in your smiling, they will be there. They are not there for when you are happy. If you tell them today they diagnose me of something, they will say, thank God I'm here. We will die here. We will trust God and release our faith. Don't have those kind of people in your life and push them away in the name of I don't trust anybody. No. I love everybody, but everybody does not occupy the same place in my life. As far as relationships is concerned, there are people who have gone out of their way to show me love, honor, kindness, to invest in my life, not just in monetary times. But these are people that if they see me crying today, they will not ask, why are you crying? They will look for a handkerchief first and make sure the crying stops before they say, why are you crying? How could I throw such people out of my life? If you want to strive for mastery, this is what you must understand. That's why you can see a few people, they are never lonely. They are never left alone because they've created systems. Are we together? Have you created a system on giving? There are people who once blessed you, who once helped you. Some of them are aged today. Some of them don't have the privilege to be as strong as they were when the government. Have you created a system around your finances to make sure that at least you are reaching out to them? You see, politicians here have a lesson that they teach us. Most of them, this is what they do. They remember people who have been there for them, and respectfully speaking, even if they are pretending it, they do it there so that the rainy days, the person can remember them. You must edge your impact in the minds of people so that when the rainy days come, they will remember you. If you ever see any man excelling in life, in ministry, in business, they systematize their success by helping them to reign, helping them to understand what they need to do to reign. I have put a system in my life to make sure my prayer life never goes down. A system of refueling, a system of maintenance, a system of retreat. If I go on a retreat today, koinonia should not suffer because I'm going on a retreat. A system has been put in place. Father, have you put a system in your house that if you are caught up in traffic or you are not able to come back home, the school fees of your children will still be paid, your wife will still be taken care of? Man of God, have you put a system in your church that even when you are not around, the fire on the altar never goes down, that your values become uncompromising? Have you put a system in place? Striving for mastery, part 1, the foundation. Part 2, the laws of dominion. Part 3, the power of systems and structures. I have been holding this mic for at least 1 or 2 hours now, and yet it has failed to stop because there is a system that powers it. And for as long as the conditions for that system is in place, I can hold this from morning even up till night. My goal is for you to become like Jesus in every way. First in your character and your stature, and then through knowledge and high level illumination, that you truly become people of influence and power, that God can do much with you. Witnesses indeed.